Welcome to another episode of Questions with L.A. Marzulli. I am your intrepid host, L.A. Marzulli. This is Questions with L.A. If you've got a question, you can shoot us an email, questions@lamarzulli.net, questions@lamarzulli.net. And I try to do as many as I can. Last week, of course, with the UFO stuff, I let it go. But this week, we're hoping to answer a few more. But we've got about 600 questions in the queue, and I thank you for that. And we'll get into that. But first, a word from our trusted sponsor. Before trying anti-aging serums or wrinkle creams, check if you're getting enough collagen first. Collagen is a protein that plays a crucial role in maintaining the health and elasticity of our skin. Without it, we may notice visible signs of aging, like fine lines and wrinkles. While collagen production naturally declines as we age, certain collagen supplements can help bring back a youthful glow like you wouldn't believe. This is why I highly recommend taking collagen. Collagen is specially formulated to enhance skin elasticity and hydration. It's made with the top 5 most powerful types of collagen that are essential for skin health, elasticity, and firmness. Folks, with only 10 grams of bioactive collagen peptides per serving, collagen is designed to make it easy to boost your collagen levels to support healthier skin. Try it today and receive 53% off, free shipping, free VIP live health and fitness coaching for life. What a great deal. And also a free new e-report titled The 14 Foods for Amazing Skin, and a 60-day money-back guarantee. So folks, if you don't see it working, they'll give you your money back. Plus, you'll also help feed a hungry child, families and communities in need of healthier lives with your order through BioTrust partnership with NoKidsHungry.org. What a great company. Check it out today. Go to healthwithla.com, healthwithla.com, or please click the link right below here in our description box. Okay, time is short, and I know your time is valuable, so I'll just get right into it. By the way, if you're writing in, the shorter the question is, the better. Make it pithy, make it short and to the point. Okay, here we go. LA, just wanted to let you know how eye-opening your teachings are. Well, thank you, sir. I really appreciate that. This is from Richard. The Lord has certainly blessed you with a gift, and I thank you as one who has always had these questions, but haven't been able to find reasonable answers until now. Just curious as to why you think the avatars being used by the Greys, etc., seem to be so unimaginative and weak. I would have thought with the advanced technology they possess, they would have come up with something way more awe-inspiring, like a Marvel comic type. Do you consider that they have a limit to their deception placed upon them by the Lord? Good question. So glad there is this sort of forum that can answer questions that have been bugging us all for years. Thank you, my brother, and God bless. That's from Rich. Wow, that's a really good question. If the Greys are what I think they are, meat suits, avatars, for the demons, which are the disembodied spirits of the Nephilim to inhabit, then it makes sense. They're also sort of the lowest rank on the totem pole, according to many abductees and experiences who had interactions with these. They're the worker bees. They're the ones that go and take the people out of the bedrooms. They can be hit, you can punch them, they can fly back, but there's also such a presence of evil. I remember Chase Klotsky, when we interviewed her years and years ago, we were down in Peru, and Richard Shaw was my partner back then. Now it's my good friend Gil Zimmerman, who's come alongside us, and of course Jim Peterson is our sound man. So we've got a little team of gun and run, or run and gun, or guerrilla filmmaking, as Rick used to call it. But and I just want to thank these guys, because we're headed to Parts Unknown in July, and we'll be filming there. So we've got a little crew, and it's exciting to see what the Lord is doing. But Chase Klotsky, circling back to what she said, that she was terrified when she saw this thing. It was about 6 feet from her, a little 4-foot gray, and it just exuded evil. So while they, you might say they're not unimaginative, in fact, I think that Chase's reaction and other people's reaction to them speak volumes of what's going on. So the Greys are the lowest on the totem pole, but when you get into the handlers, and Karen talks about the handlers, we're actually publishing her book, Karen Wilkinson. She's in number 4 of our abduction series, and I know this is getting a little lengthy, but Karen talks about the handlers, which was the shape-shifting entity, and it always appeared in a human form to her, but every now and then it would shape-shift into its natural, what it really looked like. Metis gets monocyte, as the late Russ Disdar used to say. They have the power to shapeshift. We had an interview last week or 2 weeks ago now with Melissa and David. David and Melissa live on a 5-acre farm down in Alabama. And David had an encounter with an angelic entity who looked like just a sort of a normal guy. But was it really? No, it wasn't. It was an angelic messenger. You want to check that out. It's on our YouTube channel. And I think you'll find it interesting. Now, Anthony, this is what we don't want. We don't want war and peace. We want a question. However, so let's get into it. Hello, LA. First of all, thank you for all you do and what you teach. Thank you, sir. I appreciate the kudos. Many of these topics, as you know, have been avoided by the church, and I know that God has tasked you to bring these things to light to expose the enemy. By the way, our mission statement is to expose the deception of the prince of the power of the air and to herald the return of our King and our Savior and our Lord, Jesus. He is the rightful King. He is coming perhaps sooner than we all think. And also thank you for all the work of investigation you did on the Fatima apparitions. I grew up Catholic, and for me, this was something that I held on to. It gave validity to the Catholic belief system and kept me from leaving. I have been out of the Catholic faith for over 20 years now, but until you released these movies, I never heard about all of what you discovered. Folks, if you haven't seen the Fatima films, Harbingers of Deception is the first one. Strange Phenomena. You want to check those out. Streaming.lamarzulli.net, streaming.lamarzulli.net, or lamarzulli.net if you want to buy the hard copy. But it's an eye-opener because without disparaging what people want to believe, we said this right in the beginning of the film, people have a right to believe what they want to believe. Millions of pilgrims go to Fatima every year, and they believe it's Mary. I don't. Millions of Muslims encircle the Kaaba stone. Millions of Hindus celebrate it at temples all over India. Same thing with China and the Buddhist religion. People have a right to worship what they want to. I'm not going to disparage them for doing that. I'm a born-again, Spirit-filled Christian, and I believe that Jesus was the Messiah, and he's going to return soon. So in my opinion, it supersedes all of these other isms and faiths and everything else. There's only one man, the God-man, who deals with human depravity, our sin nature, and that, of course, is Jesus. My first question is in regards to the stigmata miracle that has shown up on people, primarily Catholics, throughout the years and increasingly today. St. Francis of Assisi was allegedly the first accepted case, but another well-documented case was that of Padre Pio. And look, we're not here to disparage Catholics or what they believe. I do not believe in stigmata. I do not believe it's from the Lord. I think it's a false sign and a lying wonder. Enough of that. Many of these people are considered mystics as well as being very pious, living lives of prayer and lack, and that's fine. I don't believe a stigmata is of God, but what is going on. In my opinion, it's a false sign and wonder. What does it do? It draws attention to the person. It draws attention to the person. Now, in the case of Padre Pio, he would do this, and there was the stigmata, the wounds in the hands, and it would bleed. There was an article a while back debunking that, saying that he was using a chemical to give himself burns, and then that would create this raw skin and look like he had stigmata. We've seen this over the years. I do not believe it's a sign from God. I really don't. Just like I don't believe in a crucifix where Jesus is on the cross. Jesus is not on the cross. Jesus is a risen Savior. Now, the Shroud of Turin, in my opinion, and you can see it right up there, there's the picture of the shroud, the face of the shroud. I believe that is forensic proof of the resurrection. Let's continue. My second question is totally different. Since you are a music lover and a musician, this suits you well. Last night, my high school daughter had a choir concert, and the director picked many old church songs from the Renaissance period until today, as well as other secular songs. The very last song, he gave a bit of explanation on before they sang it. It was written by a woman from America who went to Mongolia and visited the shrines and temples there. She was fascinated with the type of singing the monks sang, throat singing. So she wrote a choir piece that was nothing more than a Mongolian chant. There were no words, just vowels in 11 different parts. 8 kids came up front to do their throat singing solo. The director was explaining before they sang about harmonics and how we would hear different tones not being sung by the choir, and he was fascinated by the science behind the whole idea of the sound. So the kids started singing it, and it was very weird. I was also fascinated by the sounds from the harmonics, since I'm a music lover as well. Most people, including my wife and my mother and my father-in-law, so we were all weirded out. My father-in-law said it was evil and Satan was being summoned. Let me stop you right there. If you look at when the Dalai Lama and other Buddhist monks chant, they are opening gateways. If you look at what Honbat's Men does, and we show this in our third film, Secrets of the Supernatural Voices from the Other Side. Once again, streaming.lamarzulli.net. Download it, and you can watch it immediately after the show. Or if you want the DVD, lamarzulli.net. I have to say it, folks, because when you contribute, when you buy our DVDs, it keeps us out in the field, because, you know, that's who's paying for it. So I'll leave it at that. The bottom line is when you watch Honbat's Men and the Mayan elders go to the Serpent Mound, they are opening up a gateway. There's no doubt about that, in my opinion. They are opening up a gateway, opening up a portal. And all these New Agers that are contributing to it, they just think it's something good. So circling back to the Buddhists, they're doing the same thing. You'll find that the Aborigines with the didgeridoos calling up the spirits, it's always the same thing. They call them forth, they call them forward. The shofar, when you blow it, when a messianic believer or just a person who believes in Yeshua, Jesus, blows that shofar, that dispels the darkness. And I'd like to get a shofar. So if any of you out there want to donate a shofar to the ministry, please do so. And you can email me with lamarzulli.net on that. Thank you. So let me continue. My father-in-law said that it was just Satan was being summoned. Many people were weirded out, actually. I used to be more in that camp. However, I'm struggling to figure out if the music in on itself is actually wrong or evil. So then he goes, is all rock music bad? Is metal music bad or drums bad? No, it's not the music. It's not a French horn. But if a Satanist is playing a French horn and dedicating it to the dragon, well, there you go. I don't believe that. Look, there's a lot of great music, okay? There really is. Think of Billy Joel's and in Allentown, great song. And they've taken all the factories down, but I won't be getting up today. Great song, Allentown. It's rock music, but it's got a message to it. Now, I'm just giving you an example. There's a lot of junk out there. There's a lot of junky Christian music that have 4 chords, endlessly repeated. There's nothing original about it at all, but I digress. So I listen to a lot of classical music. I listen to some jazz. Love the jazz stuff because it's improvisational and people are kind of free to explore. And for the most part, they're not dedicating things to Satan or the dragon. However, we know certain rock. Look, just think of the Rolling Stones. And John Adam, go online and put up a JPEG of Goat's Head Soup, Her Satanic Majesty's Request by the Rolling Stones. So there's two albums. One is a copy of Sgt. Pepper, Her Satanic Majesty's Request by the Rolling Stones. The other one is Goat's Head Soup. Put both of those up, John Adam, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. So, you know, it is what it is. I'm not going to disparage anybody. We don't do that here. But I'm not going to go. Let me put it to you this way. I'm not running off to go to a Rolling Stones concert. I'm not listening to metal music. I don't listen to rock music, much of it. There are some things that I will listen to. I love some of the Beatle music. I think it's incredible. It really is. It's very, very original, especially Day in the Life, John Lennon, incredible piece of music. Incredible piece of music. But, you know, those are my tastes, and I'll just move on from there. This is from Liz. Good day, LA. Thank you for your 5-part series with Dr. Sherry Tenpenny. That was recorded a while ago. It was super informative and enjoyable to watch. You mentioned that you would be going to Cahokia, sometime in June. I searched your website and I haven't located that info. I live not far from there. Would love to meet you in person. You know, Liz, you're a week late, and I'm sorry. If I had gotten to that, I would have told you we were there last week. In fact, we spent Monday. It'll be a week ago, basically, that we spent at Cahokia. It's not the last time I will be there. I'm sure I'm going back. That site is an absolute mind blower. And all last week we filmed at Cahokia. Go back into our YouTube channel. I think Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday we talk about Cahokia. So you'll want to go check that out. Thank you for writing in. I appreciate it. This is from Carol. Came across this article of 8 soldiers missing, a 5,000-year-old ancient Indian Vimana found in Afghanistan cave. 8 American soldiers stuck in time, disappeared in an attempt to remove it. And I'll go check this out. I'm going to make a mark here, and I will definitely go check that out. The bottom line is this. What we see, and I've seen things like this before online, that we can't, just because it's there and it might seem real. We've heard stories like this, but unless I can vet it, I don't run with it. So while this story is interesting, did they really find a Vimana? What's more interesting to me, and we've talked about that yesterday on our UFO report, the bottom line is the government has revealed that they have crashed UFOs. So what are we to do with this information? We are climbing the rungs of a disclosure ladder. There's no doubt about that. So I go where I can vet that. And I can vet it because it's all over the news and we have been reporting on it. So continuing, this is from Joe. Mr. Marzulli, I've been a fan for quite a number of years, and you and the Lord have opened my eyes and mind and heart to what is really going on. I just want to say thank you. You know, when I get emails like this, I probably will never meet Joe. Maybe I'll meet him at a conference, but it makes what we do here really worthwhile, and I thank you for the kudos. All right, to my questions. Have you heard of the monolith walls in Montana? They are called the Sage Wall. So let's just stop right there. Go back 2 weeks ago, and you can see Tim Alberino and L.A. Marzulli. We are at Sage Wall. I'll say it again here. Sage Wall is a natural formation. We debunked it. I believe that many of these other so-called megalithic sites, although I have not been there, and until I go there, I will not weigh in on it officially. But my inclination, as this is not the giant's playground. Sage Wall is a natural construct, no doubt about it. And if you watch our video with Tim Alberino and myself, you can see that and go from there. And this is from Bruce. Hey, LA, my son and I often sit outside in the early evening discussing the day's events. What we often see are lights traveling in any direction. When we look at them, normally they just fade away in 5 to 10 seconds. Being a pilot, I find this a little unusual, as our Australian legislation requires a white strobe light and navigational lights, green and red, to show the direction of travel. Are you able to shed some lights on this? There is a gas-fired power station around 3 miles to the east of us and in the direction of our site. Well, that might be, let's always go to the natural explanation first, but when you're seeing lights like that in the sky, if they're darting around, if they're making right angle turns, that's not an aircraft, that's something else. You might be seeing craft, but as you say, if there's a gas-fired power station 3 miles to the east of us and in the direction of our site, you might be looking at balls of gas coming up and being dispelled. That's just an observation, but it's hard to say. If you could take a video of it and show it to me, that would be really helpful. This is from Eric. Hello, LA. Thanks for all you do. God bless you. I was just wondering, what is your take on the coming Antichrist? Do you think that it will be a hybrid of a dragon? Is that the reason he will have superpowers? It is the seed of the serpent. It's the offspring of the serpent. It is the son of perdition, one of his titles. I believe it's Rosemary's Baby. I believe he's walking on the planet even now. Just saying. And that's where he's essentially a Nephilim. Now, that's conjecture on my part. But the late Chuck Missler believed that there would be a so-called alien connection, that the Antichrist would be the seed, the offspring of the serpent, the offspring of the dragon. Therefore, he would be, in essence, a modern-day Nephilim. Some people take offense at that and want to argue it. That's fine. Believe what you want to believe. But that's what I believe. Continuing, this is from Jim. Have you studied, this is not... It's unbelievable. I have 2 emails talking the same thing. Have you studied Sage Wall at Sage Mountain Center in Montana? Folks, here's the deal. If you're in the area, go there. It's an amazing natural phenomenon, no doubt about it. It's mind-boggling. And from a distance, when you walk into the site, you go, oh my gosh, that looks like a megalithic wall. But Tim Alberino and I were there. Gil Zimmerman filmed everything. And here's the deal. When you're there and you're looking at it, you see the fissures. The fissures begin and they end. They're fissures. It's natural. And one of the stones in the front it looked like it was 3 different stones or 2 different stones. It wasn't. It absolutely was not, because we went back to the rear of that stone and showed that the stone in the front was fissured, but in the rear it was all one stone. So in my opinion, it's a natural, and Tim's opinion too, natural formation. But if you're in the area, go and check it out. It is phenomenal. It's a great place to take the kids, a short little hike, and you're there at the Sage Wall, and we gave it 2 thumbs up as a natural phenomenon. So let's continue. Also, Pinson Mounds, just outside of Jackson, Tennessee, very amazing, obviously a Nephilim site. Even the park rangers explain that the large mound has different layers. One layer, weighing many tons, and has been soil sampled from northern Georgia. You can feel that it is a charged site. So you're bringing the soil in from Georgia? How's that done? Dog sled? You tell me. Not buying that for a second. You can feel that it is a charged site when you walk on the area, which I find very interesting. Because in 1871, a 7-foot-tall, hair-covered man-like creature was chased by men and dogs for trying to steal women in McNairy County, was just a few miles away. This is covered in one of David Paulides' books. Thanks, brother, praying for you and your family. Really appreciate the prayer. These are charged sites, there's no doubt about it. Again, we were at Cahokia last week, and they want us to believe that Native Americans built this. I'm not buying that for a second, and that's why I'm doing a deep dive. So in order to do the deep dive, I need to find out what the mainstream archaeologist community are saying. I've got 3 books that I'm reading right now, all the party line, and then I will start to probe on my own, and we'll see where it goes. This is from, that was a repeat again. This is from Natalie. Hello, I have learned a lot watching your broadcast and appreciate what you have to say. Well, thank you. I have a question about solfeggio frequencies. These frequencies apparently are associated with different chakras that are unbiblical and are associated with New Age deception. However, what do you think about these different frequencies used by Christians separate from chakras, or is it something we should stay away? Absolutely stay away from completely. This goes back to the earlier question that we had regarding sound vibration. When you get Hunbat's men and the Mayan elders, or you get Buddhists chanting, they are opening up gateways. They are summoning the demonic. Now, if you're a practicing Buddhist, you will vehemently disagree with that. But having been on both sides of the aisle, having been a New Ager, having seen this demonstrated, I know of what I speak. We're not supposed to be doing this. If you engage in this, the person who is engaging it is operating in the demonic realm. There is no such thing as Christian yoga. It's an oxymoron. That doesn't exist. Moving right along, this is Bobby. The moon's 18-and-a-half-year cycle peaks in 2006 and in 2025, and every 18-and-a-half years thereafter, with observable consequences extending for at least 3 years around the peak years. What do you think may happen? Rapture? Well, it's very interesting. I will be, God willing, if he doesn't return, or if we're not raptured in 2025, I hope to be in Ohio at the Octagon Mound, because the sun comes, or the moon rather, goes like this, right in the middle of the Octagon Mound. And there's the lunar standstill, and then it comes back up again. Absolutely phenomenal. I want to see it. This is from Maritza. Hey, LA, I watched David Paulides' UFO show last night. After the show and reading some of the comments, I realized how deceived people are. May I ask if you have had any opportunity to reach out with David? Yes, I've had several conversations with him. Someone of your stature may be able to warn or inform him. When we get raptured, these people are definitely going to conclude that it was aliens who did it. I completely concur with that. It breaks my heart to see just how deceived some of these folks are. If he can respond to my email, that would be great. Well, that's why we're dealing with it right here. The UFO update, she goes, great job at the conference, by the way. The UFO update was spot on. When you talked about how these entities are manifesting into the natural world, it made me realize how close we are to the return of the Lord, and I completely concur. God bless you and your ministry and your family. Thank you so much for the work that you do. If you've got a question, questions at lamarzulli.net. Questions at lamarzulli.net. Be patient. I will get to them. I will be at the Go Therefore conference. There should be the slide up that John Adam just put up. It's at the end of July, I will be there, and we'll be recording people's testimonies also. I'm bringing the camera crew with us, so it'll be very professional. So you want to check that out. If you've got a supernatural confrontation, please, and you're going to the conference, please consider coming on camera right there. If you've got a supernatural confrontation, email us at supernatural@lamarzulli.net. That's all the time I have for. Thanks so much for tuning in. Hit the subscribe button. We are nearing our 200,000 subscribers. We're definitely, thank you for coming on the record, and we'll see you back tomorrow with another show.